I find this interesting about Dawn Staley's South Carolina team's attempt to repeat as national champions. Obviously, the squad is loaded. The depth has come into play so often. You've had opposing coaches talk about how many McDonald's All Americans the Gamecocks have. But McDonald's sells a lot of burgers. They don't sell necessarily the best burgers. And I think the issue with South Carolina and what people might be wondering is, yeah, they have a lot of talent, but do they have the top end talent to get it done in the NCAA tournament this time around? Is Joyce Edwards, the freshman, ready for that role? She did make all SEC first team. Is Mylasia Fawiley ready for that role? She did win, sixth player of the year in the SEC. Maybe those players peak at the right time and this all becomes moot. But in the past, we've known who South Carolina is going to go through, and opposing teams have known what player is going to give them problems in the business. And it may come at you in waves, but it may also be easier to deal with in a way if there isn't that one player who can take over a game. So that's one of the questions I have going into March Madness. But it is funny to hear the talk about the depth coming from opposing coaches. It's been a topic broached a few times this year. Kim Mulkey said it after the game against LSU in late January. This was what she said about the McDonald's All-Americans.
Look, I don't know that I've ever coached against a team that's got 10 McDonald's All-Americans on a roster. How do you even keep 10 on a roster? And that's what we faced today. And what a challenge it was. And it was an enjoyable game to coach in. And man, was it good for women's basketball, but it was good for the SEC. Kudos to South Carolina. Great crowd today.
Okay, so that, it was about that specific game there at the end there. But you get the overall point, right? You get the overall point. And it's also something that came up after the Kentucky game. After the win against Kentucky over the weekend, where Kentucky's coach said something about the McDonald's All-Americans. Same sort of thing. Kenny Brooks. Here's a little clip from his post-game press conference after the Gamecocks beat the Wildcats over the weekend. I mean, this is just a small bit, but you get the point here.
You need it. They were bringing in McDonald's All-Americans, 4 McDonald's All-Americans, and just seeing which one was going to play better, and they were fresh, and
So Dawn Staley had some fun with those comments too. Clearly, they made their way to her desk or whatever. They made enough waves on social media where she noticed it, because I have to imagine that's what she was responding to here when she posted this.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm loving it.
So McDonald's All-Americans all over with South Carolina, but who is their, All-American, if you will? Because they got all SEC teams, but they don't have All-American first team players on that team this year. And for all the, you can call it complaints or gripes or just basic analysis, whatever you want to dub the comments from opposing coaches, it's not as if South Carolina's undefeated. It's not as if they went through this year and no one was able to beat them. They're currently ranked 5th in the country. They do have 3 losses on the year. They lost to UCLA. They lost to Texas. And, of course, they lost to Connecticut. So I'm interested to see how it turns out in the tournament. That McDonald's depth for the Gamecocks.